Hello, everybody out there. Welcome to Shoulder Tap. I am Jack, joined by Risk Manager Mick. Mick, how's your Monday going?
Hey, busy, but good. How you doing?
I'm doing well, doing very well. Had a
Nice.
nice little Mother's Day. Did you go anywhere for that?
Yeah, my wife and I were up in Wisconsin with our daughter. So we spent the day with her mom and grandmother. It was a really nice day. We had some good family stuff, some good weather. Got out on the lake for a little bit, so it was nice. Ate really well. Fun weekend. Um, I even managed to sneak away on Mother's Day weekend to play golf with the boys,
You
which
dog,
wasn't
you.
taken too well, but I think Jack, we kind of force things where we can.
You know, you're a bold boy, and sometimes you got to deal with the consequences. So that's a good lesson for trading. Hopefully, everybody out there had a wonderful Mother's Day. Be nice to mom, as we mentioned earlier. Even if you are a troll, be nice to mom. Yeah,
Always, they
how are the traders
sacrifice a
doing
lot
today?
for you. It's a quiet day in the markets, Jack. We've got a little bit more red on the board than we do green. The green is a little bit smaller in numbers and dollar value size. It's there's not been much going on, this morning so far for the equity indices. So it's kind of not a rough start, but just not an extremely positive start to the week, which is okay. I mean, we see
Mhm.
that without much going on in the markets. I kind of always notice this or feel this way regularly. Is when there's not much moving, people get their pockets picked. It's kind of like what I see from overnight trading. People when the markets aren't really moving, you get these little flushes and rallies throughout the market. People get their pockets picked, and it's kind of what I'm seeing today. So not much in the way of good things to report, other than I'll kind of talk a little bit about last week. The notable thing I noticed from last week was we had some big P&Ls on the week last week. David A takes the cake. He had a $10,300 week last week. Shout out to Nick for a tick today. He's up $1,300. We don't have too many people in the live accounts that are up much more than that. So $1,000. It's not bad to squeak out $1,000 out of this market to these markets today. Um, but I do want to go to last week. I always talk about how many people we called up to live. Usually do it on a daily basis, but definitely on a weekly basis. So we called 12 people up to live last week. We only offboarded 11 live accounts. So we added net one to the prop firm. But of those 12 people that got called up to live, um, it was about $15,000 per person on average that we kind of transferred over from XFA to live. So it's a pretty sizable amount. You think about 15 grand across 12 people. We're talking $160,000 between payouts and then transfer to live starting account balances. So that's really nice. Those traders that we called up yesterday, many of which I spoke about last week, and I shouldn't say yesterday, last Friday. I think everybody knows
Mhm.
what I mean. Yesterday, business day. But those traders, they were doing really well, and we talked about a lot of XFA traders last week. I try and keep it to the live people or do a nice blend, but there was a lot of good stuff out of the live accounts. But this week, I want to talk about some of our live traders. I've got 3 live traders that I want to feature for the shoulder tap cards today. The first 2 of which are shout outs. The third one, bit of a shoulder tap from someone we've had in our
Okay.
program for about 4 years. So, with that, I would like to kind of dive in and talk about Dennis. If we could pull up Dennis's card. Now, I like Dennis. He's been trading in his live account for 53 long days, which is pretty nice. And over those 53 days, average daily P&L of $141. He's not always a small trader, Jack, but the way that the wins and losses pan out is he's profitable over these 50 something trading days. uh, while he may be trading out of Colorado, I see the products that he trades, and it's reminiscent of
Yes.
someone who might be a Chicago native here, or at one point maybe was, seeing that they're trading Chicago Board of Trade grains, Chicago Board of Trade financials. I like to see the energies there. I mean, I don't think I've ever featured anybody who's a grain trader, and that's grains are my background, from being on the grain floor here at the Board of Trade. Um, 39 stories below where I currently am right now. Um,
Yeah.
Sneak people into the old grain floor too. Michael's been down there a number of times, as have some others, yourself included. Not
Yes.
much there anymore. Just one board from back in the day that still has the old quotes up. But anyways, I love seeing the grain trading here. I love seeing we always talk about, it's really important to focus on one product or two products, specialize in those. But I'll always say, it's hard to trade this many products on a daily basis. Dennis isn't doing that. Dennis has a strategy that is implementing across multiple asset classes, across multiple products, um, grains, financials, energies, one currency here, and the metals. So I like the energies. I like the metals. I always think someone who trades silver's got some brass to trade the silver, it being such a large contract. Play on words there, metal words. But they've been trading really well overall. I like, I like that the best winning day here is almost $5,000, 4,975 bucks, and their biggest losing day is 3,000. They're capped at that $3,000 daily loss limit for their account size. Um, at 58% winning days, this is really nice, especially when you look at the average winning day of 993, which is fine. Average losing day is bigger than the average winning day by about 70 bucks. I call those about the same when you're talking in terms of $1,000. But I like that average losing day because it's only a third of the daily loss limit allowed on that $3,000 account. I love it when I see a trader who's getting, now, granted, they've hit the daily loss limit before.
Hmm.
Um, but when your average losing day is one third of what you're allowed, tells me you're a mature trader, you have discipline, and it's a beautiful thing. It's really good. So I like that a lot. Um, what else do we have here? We've got 55% winning trades, Jack. They're only taking 2.5 trades per day, so they're pretty selective, and they're trading ones and twos. Speaking of trading the ones and twos, and I mentioned a big day on the upside. I mentioned a big day on the downside for their best and worst. But I mean, this P&L is kind of all over the board, and I certainly like seeing that because it tells me they're only trading what they see in the market. They're not someone who's coming in. Obviously, they're not trading max leverage, for an account size of this type and an account balance of what they have in the account. I always like it when traders trade smaller than they can. You're under less pressure. You make better decisions when you're under less pressure. So that's a good thing to me here. Um,
Yeah, real quick, I have a few notes on this. First, I just wanted to comment. People are talking about the sell off. In the last 10 minutes, we've seen ES is off about 12 points. This could be news out of the noon Apple conference that has been pumped up a little bit. So we'll keep a close eye on that. But we're pushing lows of the day in the ES about two ticks above the low of the day right now. And now we're pushing it lower. We talked about Dennis earlier on fast markets. I didn't realize
mhm.
I love the eclectic nature of what he trades here, especially seeing
Yeah.
my boys, ZN and ZB. I'd be interested to see if does he trade all these things all the time, or is he just going to look for what looks like a good chart for him to trade a strategy?
No, sir. Yeah, I think I may have wanted to mention that or maybe mentioned it but didn't get to it when I was talking about, we want to specialize in one or two products. But Dennis, like you were asking about, Jack, he's got a strategy that he's implementing across multiple asset classes. He's not trading all of these products every single day. That would be doing a disservice to him or any other trader. It's too difficult to give the attention to your open trades or open positions
Hmm.
that you need when you're spread out across. What do we have up here? There's like 9 things listed here, 10 things listed here. They're not trading these products every day. They've got a strategy, likely a technical strategy that they're saying, oh, there's an opportunity here. I'm going to take it. Oh, there's an opportunity here. And that's the beautiful thing about online trading is, you know, you're not standing in the corn pit watching, a 4 penny range all day long for multiple weeks. You can move on. And if you have a technical approach, you can say, oh, where is there opportunity? And if you're one of those people that is doing that or isn't doing it, it's something to consider. And if you are saying, gosh, my product is just not really moving, it hasn't moved in the last couple of weeks, how am I going to, find any
Yeah.
opportunities here when the range is so narrow? take a top down approach and look at different products out there. And when I say top down approach, I mean look at the daily charts out there. What is the direction of these daily charts? Is that product moving up, down, or is it going sideways? And if you flip through all the products that are available here at TopStep, chances are you're probably going to find something where you can identify that, hey, copper's trending or nat gas is trending, something like that, and then go down to a shorter time frame from your higher time frame of a daily chart and say, is there anywhere I can get in on a pullback and catch this trend up?
Hmm.
Or is there anywhere I can get in on a rally and, short this market and catch the trend down? It's it's a really important thing to consider, especially if you're someone. Most of our traders trade equity indices, Nasdaq predominantly, and then S&Ps. I mean, there aren't always trades, in my opinion. If you're looking at a 1 minute chart, you're always going to be able to find some reason or
It's
want
there.
to get in one way or the other. But from a top-down approach, you can identify these things, these opportunities in other places that you might not be looking. If you are always trading on a shorter time frame, like a 1 minute chart or a 5 minute chart, I challenge you and encourage you to, broaden your horizons a little bit, because if you're looking at a market like that, and many people could look at one market and trade their strategy off a short time frame. But if you don't have the top down approach and have the bigger picture of what this market's doing, you're missing the forest staring at a tree, and that's not
Mhm.
what you want to be doing as a trader. So I'm happy you brought that up. No, Dennis is selective with these products that he's trading. I would say that his bread and butter, or overall, I wouldn't say bread and butter actually, because it looks like he's making money elsewhere outside of the equity indices, specifically that S&P. He's down money trading the S&Ps, despite it being his popular product that he's trading. So something he could consider is, hey, the strategy is not profitable in the equities. You're doing well in many of these other 10 products or 9 products listed here. Maybe drop that for a little while and see if we can change some of these statistics, because there is a big sample size of trading days here that Dennis has under his belt. But going back to the
Yeah.
metrics here on the card, 55% winning days, it's a good risk reward. It's about 1.5 to 1. They're making 765 bucks on their winners, only risking 555 on their losers. It's a decent risk reward. I shouldn't say it's a good one. It's a decent one. You have to be 1 to 1 or better. But moving on to the things I really like here with Dennis, I said maturity. They're kind of all over the board on their P&Ls as far as winners go, meaning they're only taking what they think the market can give them. They're not saying, I got to make $5,000 every day, or I got to make 1,000 every day. No, there's some
Hmm.
$90 winning days all the way up to that, almost a $5,000 winning day. The containment of the losses is huge here. Going back to what I said, they're only risking a third of their daily loss limit on their average losing day. Um, and then hold
That's
times
what
here on
jumped out.
wicks.
Yeah. The
That's
average
always
losing day jumped out.
that's such a big thing here. It's such a big thing. I find that to be one of the biggest problems, people have. I've been asked on this show before, what's the single biggest thing that you see traders failing over? And it's always an easy answer. It's like they're losing way too much money on their losing days, and they're not compensating by letting their winning days be larger than their losing days, or they're not having enough of those winning days, Jack. So that's a huge piece here. And that's why when I first brought it up, I associated it with maturity and discipline, something for everybody that's watching to take note of. Um, Last thing I'll say I like here about Dennis is their hold times. I mean, very patient in their winning trades. For someone who's trading 1 and 2 contracts that has, put up big, almost $5,000 winning days, along with many other $1,000, $2,000 winning days. Average hold time on their winners is over 3 hours, just over 3 hours. Average hold time on those losses is 46 minutes. That's eye
Mm.
opening. That's pretty eye opening. And that's always what I love to see. So big shout out to Dennis. He's been, as it all smooths out, you know, bigger P&L profits, lower, not even big losses for the account size. I mean, this profitability here, it smooths out nicely that over the course of over 50 something days, they're profitable and pans out to be kind of a singles hitter, even though they're not a singles hitter on a daily basis.
Well, great job, Dennis. Love it. As we go to the next card, Mick, I just want to say that we got a bounce back, bottomed out about 52.33 in the S&P, and now we're trading back to 43. So if you bought that, good on you. All right, who we got next here, Mick?
Yeah,
Oh no,
before we
go
move
ahead.
on really quickly, one last thing I forgot to mention, and you said that Dennis's name got brought up earlier on the show. Was that because he had his $6,600 winning week last week?
I think so, and he spells his name the same as Andre's dad, so that caught my attention.
Okay. Let's move on. Let's
Mick,
go to Lu Zhu. Lu Zhu is someone who is off to a really hot start in their live account. Only 8 days under their belt so far, but Lou's been doing really well. And he also, like Dennis, who had the $6,600 win streak. Lou is he's on a $6,100 win streak, or I shouldn't say win streak. That was his P&L from last week. Dennis was up 6,600 last week. Lou is up 6,100 last week, and off to a really stellar start in the live account. Look at this. After 8 days, they got 88% winning days, 83% winning trades. These are high metrics that we love to see. Um,
Scalp City.
Scalp City, yep, you're already looking at the trade report. We'll talk more about that in a bit here. There's some things that might not be sustainable that we see on the trade report, but overall, it's working pretty good. Uh, I'd like to mention here that we've got our best day of $3,200, 3,240, $3,240. Worst day, 2,000. They only had one losing day, so really that's their average losing day is just from that one losing day. Um, but average winning day is only $1,000. They've got 7 winners, 1 loser, and that 1 loser was twice what their average winning day is. I always say it's difficult to maintain these high percent winning trades, and with that, difficult to maintain the high percent winning days. So Lou is going to have to think about that when it comes to what he's risking on a daily basis. If these winning trades were to turn south, the winning days were to turn south, and he's still keeping his average losing day twice the size of the average winning day, he might run into some struggles ahead of time. But this isn't about that. This is about giving him
Mhm.
credit and being really happy for the hot start that he's on. So hopefully it just continues.
Something interesting about this is, as you said, the sample size, like we mentioned the last time I was on, which I think was Friday, maybe. Um, that you need about 30 days or 30 data points. What's interesting about this card is, you know, Lou only has 8 days, but is averaging 21 trades per day, right? So there's like 160 trades incorporated into that. You say he's, using one lots or whatever, that 83% winner. That's super
Okay.
high, and it probably will come down, but if he's really going if he has figured something out over the course of 160 trades that's working that much, even if it drops to 70, 75, something like that, I also would be making 21 trades a day. I'd be
Yeah, I
super
mean,
interested to see what the setup is on these.
you will see. Well, we can, while we don't know the exact setup or the strategy, we can break it down from the average winning trade being $95. So, I mean, this
Uh-huh.
guy, Lou, I should say, is really only looking to take about 4 points out of the S&P, and then what is that? 20 points, 19 points in the Nasdaq at average winning trade. So, I mean, their risk reward is skewed at 1 to 2. They're risking, 90. They're risking $200 to make $95. But if you're trading one of these equity indices, chances are that the market goes in your favor 4 ticks. And I say this with hesitation because I don't want anybody to hang their hat on me saying this. I was going to say chances are like you could get tagged on a short profit like that. The problem is with these fluctuations and having small profit targets, yeah, you could get tagged on the winners pretty quickly, but you're also going to get tagged on the losses really quickly. And if you're risking twice as much to make, if you're risking 200 to make 100, again, that
Yeah.
winning trade percentage is going to be tough to maintain and sustain. So I'm not recommending anybody try and find small profits. For anybody that watches this show, they know I really like fewer trades during the day with low risk and high reward. That's where traders should be going. So it's
Yeah,
working right
you
now, but it's not where I'm directing anybody to go.
anything you can make work, do it, but you're really seeping into the domain of the algorithmic trading programs at that point. If you're getting too down, if you're trying to be a market maker, um, it's pretty well known. I can attest that you can't do that pointing and clicking. So, just some food
Yeah.
for thought.
Well, Jack, like they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But if you see it
Yeah,
breaking, like in Lou's case, if you see this breaking, get on it really quickly. You're going to need to make some adjustments or take some time off. Traders like this. Now we've had some choppy days. They've traded 8 days. We've had some choppy days in recent times. Traders that might be looking, traders that are risking twice as much, risking 200 to make 100, will get run over time in and time again in trending markets that are true trending markets, because you're going to try the same setup, you're going to get run over, you're going to try it again, and boom, a few trades later, you're at that daily loss limit. So be really careful there, Lou. But all this is a shout out to you. Um, I will say, for that, and kind of going back to what I said earlier, that average losing day, their only losing day was 2,000, but their most winning days are less than $1,000. So also be careful of, having a losing day that's going to take multiple winning days to make back. You want to be in a position where it takes you a couple losing days to wipe out one day's profit. Now, again, small sample size, 8 days. The one day of losses here is an anomaly, but losses are not an anomaly in this trading business. So just keep that in mind. I'd like to say last thing here is keep a check on that account balance maintenance level, Lou. Super happy that you took a $5,500 payout. But if you have a couple losing days of 2,000 in a row, your back is against the wall with where your account balance is, and you don't want 3 losing days in a row to be your 3 swings at the plate before you strike
yeah,
out. So do keep that in mind. But again, this is a shout out, Jack. Everything's going well here, but there are areas uh, not of
for
concern, but
improvement.
things to consider, as I like to say. I kind of break it down to like my 3 categories: areas for improvement, things to consider, and then areas for concern. So this is just a thing to consider, and keep a close eye on your metrics. Everybody, keep a close eye on your trade reports. Track your statistics, see when they're changing, see where you should be making adjustments. And that's, advice that I think any coach here would give you, and anybody with, professional experience in the markets would certainly agree with.
All right. Well, we have to hustle through this last shoulder tap. Good job, Lou. Um, we could
Yeah.
save it for tomorrow and see if they want to redeem themselves, or do we want to like tap the shoulder now?
Let's
Let's do
tap the
it.
shoulder now, because this is going to be quick and dirty. We got Brian P here. He's been with us for a while, April 2022. He got off to a nice start in his live account. First week, he was up 6,000. Last week, he lost 15,000. He's only been in the account for 8 days. Out of those 8 days, his average daily P&L is almost 1,200,000. Excuse me, 1,200,000.
That's a lot.
$1,200 in losses each day. Brian's been in the program for a while. His name is very, very familiar with mine, because I've seen him on a regular basis from time to time find, pretty good short-term success. But that's been all it is short-term success. Has a couple, strings together some really nice trades, nice winning days, only to have what happened last week happen. So he's down in these 8 days since he started about $9,000. which correlates with what we see for the average daily P&L of 8 days, minus $1,155. So my thing with Brian is there's a lot of room for improvement, a lot of room for improvement, and a lot of room for improvement around being truthful with himself and learning from previous uh, situations that he's been in. Because, like I said,
Mhm.
a lot of short-term success that over the course of 4 years, if you're not progressing, you may be regressing. And granted, short-term success is nice; it's a good shiny object, but nobody should aspire to have a couple nice winning weeks only to follow it by poor performance. So 15,000 in losses, 15,500 in losses last week. I mean, this big daily loss limit, 5 days in a row.
Yeah,
I think that Brian would be much better off trading in a smaller account size where he can't risk that much. He's only taken about, less than 4 trades per week, but he's doing it with 1 to 3 lots. And usually those individual trades is like putting three on, putting three on, putting three on. So
and then hit the
I,
DLL.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, daily loss limit. So
Yeah, you
this
definitely don't
is
want your average losing day to be $3 less than your worst day. That's seems to
yeah,
be that every losing day in this account, Brian hit the DLL, which is
yeah.
hard to say,
And
by the
I
way. DLL.
DLL. So I
There we
think
go.
that Brian, with the short-term success that he's found, he has his hot streaks, then followed by cold streaks that last longer. Winter is longer than summer here. Um, he's I want to turn attention, and I know we got to go, but I want to turn attention to his time spent in winning trades, Jack. He's only spending 9 minutes in his winning trades, where the trade report shows he's spending about 3 hours in his losing trades. Now, of those 3 hours, probably a lot of those 3 hours are spent, in the money in those trades. So I don't think it's, 3 hours exactly against him, but I personally think he's scared because on the winning trades, like very quick to take profits because he sees all these losses and he's like, oh, I'm up a certain amount of money. I might need to hit the cash register and close it out, where he's really patient with the losing trades. And we see more losing trades than winners. 70% losing trades in this account, only
Yeah.
30% winning trades. So,
We're
Brian,
all more patient. All more patient
but
when
you
it comes
don't
to holding losers. That's what you
you,
wanna
you
be.
don't want to be. That's the tough thing, though. That's the discipline. You don't want to be there. So, um, that's my quick piece. I know we got to run. I got to hop off into another meeting. But Jack, thanks so much. This was fun. And while we might have a bit of a red start to the week, I'm confident that we can turn it around.
Let's go back and get them. Thanks for watching. Stick around. We're going to do a quick switch out, and Hoag's going to be here for group coaching. Then we have Anne Marie stopping by at 1, and Zach Anthony is going to be here for Power Hour. So stick around. Keep it safe this Monday, and we'll see you right after the break.